All right, so after millions in spend and multiple brands that we've brought to 100K plus per month, I can confidently tell you that some of the biggest brands are getting the craziest returns on ads, aren't doing anything too fancy realistically when it comes to the ads that they're running inside their ads manager. It really just boils down to the same 3 creative formats. And in this video, I'm going to break down those 3 creative formats and how you can take them and implement them into your own brand or business and copy these creative ideas. So if you're ready to boost your revenue and stop wasting ad spend on dookie creatives that just do not convert, this video is your answer. But before we get into this, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mason Ashby. I am the CEO/COO of Brez Marketing. We've helped multiple brands from jewelry to apparel to automotive to skincare all surpass 100K per month. And I'm pretty much on this channel to give you some sauce that I've learned. That way you can take some tidbits and implement them into your own business. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, the first format, and it's blowing up recently, you probably already know what it's going to be, and that's UGC. When you use UGC correctly, it is seriously so easy to build trust with your customers. And it's a lot more than just kind of picking up your iPhone and taking videos. It's more about balancing authenticity with clarity. There are 2 types of UGC. First one being raw, second one being polished. Raw UGC feels a lot more relatable. This will help you build trust with your audience, while polished delivers more clarity, more structure. Both have their place in a brand's content strategy, but each one has its own purpose. Polished UGC versus raw UGC. So let me break that down for you. Okay, so raw UGC is those iPhone videos that you'll see random models or UGC creators create, natural lighting, minimal editing, no real like script structure, just kind of like talking about their experience and kind of how they feel about the product and whatnot. This really helps with cold traffic and building up real good trust. Whereas polished UGC is a lot more production based. There's edits, there's transitions, there's structured scripts to make sure that the viewer kind of goes through a specific process or funnel. This is really helpful for mid funnel or even bottom funnel retargeting. And now, how do you know which type of UGC to use? And what does a good UGC even look like? Okay, so hopping down into the iPad here, let's give you guys a visualized breakdown of when you want to use raw UGC versus when you want to use polished UGC. So for raw UGC, it's going to be best when you're kind of testing things, wanting to find winning angles, winning hooks, really good for just like the testing phase essentially. This is also going to help you kind of push out authenticity with those people that are coming across for the first time. That unedited feel, that unprofessional feel is going to resonate a lot easier with that cold traffic, as well as this is going to help you also target, as I mentioned earlier, we'll add that target cold traffic. Now for polished UGC, this is when you want to start to go more bottom funnel, more middle funnel. This is good for retargeting. This is also going to help you scale out like proven winning angles and whatnot. So let's say you find like a winning angle within your raw UGC, you can kind of use those winning angles to clean them up a little and make them a lot more scripted and professional and help you scale out those winning angles. So, and then considering the fact that this is a lot more directed, scripted, edited, it's pretty much just going to take your raw UGC, get that same effect of it being authentic and relatable, but just making it a lot more on brand, whether it have like brand colors in it, overlays, text and whatnot. So just helping you stay a lot more on brand. And that's when I would use it too. So raw UGC when I'm looking to test and push out authenticity to cold traffic, and then polished UGC when I find the winning angles from raw is when I'd start to implement polished and start to edit and film professionally and retarget and scale out those winning angles just to maintain everything on brand. Okay, so this is the exact structure that you want to be following when it comes to creating raw UGC. The first thing being, you always want your raw UGC, the first 3 seconds or so, to start off with a powerful hook, something that's going to stop the user from scrolling, whether it be like, I wasn't expecting this to work, or my dermatologist told me, or TikTok made me buy this, or something along those lines, just something polarizing enough to get them to stop scrolling. And then after that, you want to do a relatable problem. You want them to list kind of what problem they were having that might relate to the target demographic that you're looking to get to purchase. And then after that, make sure that the UGC creator follows that up with their personal experience and how they went about finding the product, or kind of how they went about ordering it and what their experience was receiving the product. And then after that, you want them to talk about their results and their transformation from whatever they're buying. And then after that is the CTA. You want to make sure it's really natural and not too hard, because then it will come across as not legitimate and people will kind of sniff that out, especially with the consumer's guard and how high up it is nowadays. But okay, so now that we went over the structure of raw UGC, it's important to go over structure of polished UGC. You always want to start off with a strong hook, something that's definitely going to grab attention. For example, like here's why I'll never use use drugstore skincare again, or big skincare is lying to you. Something that's like extremely polarizing, that's going to like not necessarily stop people from scrolling, but definitely get people intrigued, because you want to keep in mind that polished UGC you want to use for middle bottom funnel traffic. So they're already going to know the brand, they're already going to know the product. It's just important to essentially display the problem, which we'll get into after this, but using a strong hook to be able to pull them in and then assess the problem and then intro the product, yada yada. So next would be going over the problem and making sure it's extremely clear and making sure that it resonates with that target demographic. For example, like my skin was dry, my skin was flaky, and it was literally painful. That might be a problem that ICP is facing, and having the polished UGC call it out is going to help a lot. After the calling out the problem, you then want to call out an intro the brand, intro the solution, and this is how I found blank brand on TikTok and I'm literally obsessed. After you intro the brand and how they came across it, you want to mention some of the clear benefits to it. This could just be any unique selling point of your brand, just essentially quickly covering like some value props about the product. And then after that, you want to include some social proof, maybe even some comparison, but talking about how it's gone viral or how it's sold out X amount of times or how it stands out from its competitors is some good ways to implement that. And then going back over onto the results, showing how it was used and what it did to help, and then following that up with some scarcity CTA, mentioning how to grab it now before it's all gone. Keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, this polished UGC is really going to be bottom funnel, middle funnel stuff. People already know this brand. It's really just going to double down on the values and the benefits of the brand and really help them convert and cross the line if they didn't the first time. But there is another format that a lot of bigger brands that we've been working with have been using that also builds trust and gets conversions at the same time, and that's founder-led ads. Founder-led ads are essentially ads that show face of the brand owner, also goes over why they made the brand, why they made the product, and how it helped their day-to-day life, X, Y, and Z. And this content is doing really well right now, and it's actually helping a lot of brands break through on cold and warm audiences. This works especially right now just because, as I mentioned earlier, guards on consumers are so high right now. This helps break it down way easier and way quicker. So by using founder-led ads, you can actually stand out from all of the thousands of other brands that are running ads right now. And the thing is a lot of competitors nowadays and a majority of brands are hiding behind faceless ads, and because of that, they look a lot more generic, they look a lot more forgettable, they lack personal connection, they failed to build trust and loyalty with a customer base, and they blend into competitors' content. So if you really want to stand out, you need to be making videos about why you made your brand, who it helps, how it helped you, the origin story of your brand, how you came about the product, how you made the product itself. Like for example, if it was like a beef tallow brand and you wanted to explain like exactly how you made it, that's going to resonate way more with customers, as they can see exactly who's behind the brand and they want to help you out essentially. You can also see a huge pendulum swing back from, I like to say a lot in history that it's just essentially just a pendulum swinging back and forth. It started off being a lot of people can't trust smaller businesses because they don't see it as professional. They trusted bigger, like generalized companies and brands like that. And now the pendulum's swinging back, now that we have social media and that people can create content, they're starting to trust a lot more of those mom and pop shops. So when you can kind of explain your origin story and explain why you're here as a brand and your business and what your purpose is, that resonates a lot more with people, as well as they want to support you and say fuck those bigger companies that are pushing out at mass. So a couple scripts that you can use for founder-led ads is like, I made this because, or here's why people love it, or if you struggle with insert pain, then try this, and then insert your brand. Yeah, those are a couple founder-led ads that I've been printing recently for a few of our clients. But if you want to finally scale your brand past those 30 to 80K months and hit those 100K months, then click the top link in the description. We would love to help you out. We've helped multiple brands surpass 100K per month, and we'd love to do the same for you. So like I said, feel free to hit the link in the description and our team member will reach out to you as soon as possible. But how do you stack all of these formats into a full funnel campaign is the next question. So this full stack strategy that I'm about to show you is really going to help you make sure that you're saying the right things to the right people at the right time. In this case, it's not necessarily about the creative, it's more about the stack and when people are seeing certain content. Because what's working for you at, let's say, the top of the funnel is not going to print the same at the bottom of the funnel when you're pushing out retargeting. And why would you expect a cold audience to respond the same as someone someone who's been retargeted by your content and seen your brand multiple different times. And let me tell you guys will save a lot of money as well as get a lot more return on your ad spend when you push the right type of content to the right person at the right stage of the funnel. Like for example, we had a client come on who was already running ads previously, and they were running offer-based creatives to top of funnel cold audiences. Now they were getting them to convert and it was profitable, but what they were doing was showing like 25% off rips to a cold audience to get them to convert when they didn't necessarily have to, which means that they were giving out 25% off on their orders when they didn't need to, in return dropping their AOV. When in reality, offer-based creatives, you want to retarget to people who have already shown interest, which makes the ROAS a lot greater on those retargeting campaigns and those orders that you scrape up after getting them interested with the top of funnel content. Okay, so jumping back down to the iPad, I created a little content stack and a little visual for you guys to reference, but top of funnel, you want to be more hook oriented, more problem to solution oriented with your creatives, showing more benefits and visuals. That way you can kind of show your cold audience a problem that they may be facing and then kind of like the solution to that, as well as just grabbing attention and just doing everything in your power to get them interested. Once you get them interested is when you want to start to maybe retarget them at the middle of the funnel with testimonials, some FAQs of the actual product itself, maybe handle some objections with some content at the middle of the funnel. In middle of funnel, I mean like people who visit the website but maybe didn't add anything to cart or didn't purchase or maybe checked out the profile. That's what I mean by middle of funnel. Top of funnel, I just mean completely broad. But yeah, middle of funnel, people checking out the website, maybe the product listing page. You can hit them with content that covers testimonials, frequently asked questions, handle some objections with some of that content, and then maybe walk through some of the products or what they can experience when they're ordering through a UGC review, something like that. And then bottom funnel, you really want to be more offer-based, more CTA oriented, really pushing scarcity and urgency to get people to buy. I mean, for example, bottom funnel, I wouldn't even push the offer, CTA, scarcity, urgency type of content. I'd only push to people at the bottom of funnel who maybe added that stuff to their cart or initiated checkout but didn't purchase. That is really going to push people over the line to purchase and scrape up a lot of sales that you might have been missing. And then with retargeting, you want to be less about story and more about just pushing them to the offer and getting them to cross the line. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the creative formats and how you want to structure them in terms of funnel and when to target people with specific formats to get the best return and save the most money on your ad spend. But if you're looking to take your brand from 30 to 50, 80K per month and you want to push it past 100K per month, click the top of the link in the description. We've helped multiple businesses, multiple brands surpass 100K per month, and we'd love to do the same for you and take that stress off your plate, because we know you as a business owner probably have a lot of different stresses that you face on a day-to-day, and we'd love to be the one to help you out with that. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you guys got something from this video and you can apply it to your own brand or business. With that being said, I hope to see you guys again.